interested enough to come back? And we'll just wait. And here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living on this incredibly summery day here in the Pacific Northwest. We have a lot going on today, and we're glad you joined us, whether you're here in person or you're here joining us online. Grateful you're here. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to this interesting morning where Amber's going to showcase the ukulele band.
Yeah, okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm very excited, and all you StreamYard folks, they're not mic'd, so you'll just have to imagine you're hearing these beautiful ukulele sounds. But this is a few of the folks who took the beginning ukulele class that I taught here at the center this last spring. So they've been practicing hard, and they're going to join us on a couple songs, and we hope you enjoy their wonderful energy that they're bringing today. We're going to start by singing Swing Open My Heart, and if you want to stand up with us, we're going to sing into this day. Swing open my heart, give thanks for the day. Gonna let love fill me up, get right back to the start. This is how I was made, free from the worry, free from the fear. I know spirit is peace, loving kindness in me right now, right here, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright, yeah, yeah. Sing, don't worry, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Swing open my heart, swing open my heart, give thanks for the day. Love fill me up, get right back to the start. This is how I was made, free from the worry, free from the fear. I know spirit is peace, loving kindness in me right now, right here, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry, no, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Every little thing, yeah, every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing it again, every little thing, yeah, every little thing is gonna be alright. Yay! And they'll be back. They'll be back. So why don't you take a minute to greet some of those neighbors out there? If you're on social media, let us know where you're tuning in from.
Cool, that was fun. I would like it too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, very nice. Oh, yeah.
We're gonna click off from my soul. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome
Good morning. Welcome. I'm Deb Dole, a practitioner here at CSL Bellingham, and I'm wondering if you might turn off your phones. And then, if you would join me in a short invocation. First of all, let's just take a deep breath. Hold it for a second, and then let it out. And see if you can tune into maybe where you feel your heart beating. And then expand your awareness out to all the people that are here in this room. And the nice, warm sun, hopefully a tidge less warm than yesterday, and the plants that are growing. And know that all of this, our community, the plants, the love, our heart beating, our blood flowing, that is spirit. That is spirit immensely present. And I know that each one of us has our own ways of accessing spirit, and that's good. And I know that our life is proceeding, our human life. And that is good. And today, I lay myself in the arms of the infinite spirit, knowing that my soul is okay. Your soul is okay, regardless of what the outside conditions are, because spirit is everywhere. Spirit is us, spirit is for us, and spirit is in us. I'm so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for this powerful practice. And I walk and you walk forward through the day. I release these words to the creative medium that can only say yes. That's what it does. That's what its job is. And I know that this is all done. It is so. And so it is.
To invite any of the children to come on up and be with your teachers this morning. I don't know, there's Joe in the back. Joe, come on up, come on. He's got his ukulele still. And you don't have to come up if you don't want to, just saying. However, let me introduce you to the teachers so that you know who they are. Lily and Georgia here are our elementary school age teachers, and have a wonderful program figured out for those kiddos today. And then Joe and Wendy are our middle school teachers, and our programs are all based on nature and mindfulness and happen outdoors. Even as the weather begins to change, we'll be outdoors quite a bit. So if you know children that might benefit from an hour of just being in nature and learning some real simple practices to ground into the present moment, we'd love them to come and attend. So right now we have a great song that Amber's going to sing.
It's a great song for all of us. I find myself singing this song in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sacred Earth Fair happening today. So we're going to sing Hooray for the World, I'm Glad to Be on It, and sing the kids out to their classes. Here we go. 1, 2, hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Sing hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the you. Sing hooray, hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. You all have a great time in your class today. Are going to switch gears and move into some musical meditation together. We've got a couple songs for you this morning. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's error, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender. Let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Let's sing that again. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's error, let me love. Inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Let's sing that again. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. My heart is open. My heart is open. I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. My heart is open. I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Let's sing My Heart is Open. My heart is open. I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. My heart is open. I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me.
Thank you. Beautiful, as always. Good morning again. Welcome. Glad you're here. This is the last talk on our monthly theme of true freedom. And I've chosen the title of my BFF's book, After the Ecstasy, the Laundry, Jack Cornfield. He's not really my best friend, but I like to think he is. So, After the Ecstasy, the Laundry. So, I don't know if you were raised like I was, but I was raised in a household that really was loved fairy tales, and loved fairy tales, even, the Disney ones, yes, but even the scarier ones. And so I grew up hearing all about different stories that involved heroism and altruism and nobility and purity of heart. Anybody else? And always these stories seem to end on a happy note. So happily ever after was, part of the story. And so I grew up thinking that was part of the story. How's that going for you? Sometimes, and sometimes not, right? And so what I have become aware of in myself, and I wanted to talk to you in case you have this too, is I began to realize that I had kind of transferred that expectation to my spiritual practice. That what I unconsciously, I didn't actually think about it until very recently, but unconsciously I was expecting that if I did all the hard work of meditating every single day and going to retreats and doing prayer and reading spiritual books and that there would be happily ever after. That there would be like spiritual enlightenment and then that would be it, right? I don't know if you've thought about this, but actually I'm making light of it, but it was a real revelation, like, that's probably not going to work out for me. So far not. And so as I was looking at that, I realized that there's this great quote that I've been quoting for years that I needed to take seriously again. And it's by one of the, he recently passed away in 2004, one of the Sufi order. And his father was the first Sufi to come to the West. And so Pir Vilayat Khan said this: of so many great teachers I've met in India and Asia, if you were to bring them here to America, get them a house, 2 cars, a spouse, 3 kids, a job, insurance and taxes, they would all have a hard time. And I would quote that because I thought it was very funny, but also because it was such a relief. That, the fact that we're not all sitting in lotus, completely illumined, makes sense when you start thinking about all the things that we're also navigating. That for most of us, I don't know, probably almost all of us in this room, we don't have the luxury to just do spiritual practice all the time. Although, what I want to talk about is how we can do spiritual practice all the time. Because I don't want to discourage anyone from the practices that you may already have adopted, or if you've been listening to me for a while and still haven't chosen one to really practice, this is my encouragement for you to do that. Because I truly believe that not only are spiritual practices of all sorts tremendously valuable, but they're also tremendously needed in our world right now. If you think about what we look at out in the world sometimes, it doesn't look like a lot of people are practicing equanimity, compassion, loving kindness, doesn't always look that way. Now, in my little bubble of a world where you all are, oh yeah, we do it a lot. And so it's tremendously valuable for us to practice and offer that practice into the world. That said, how do we move from the elevated heights that our practice may eventually take us to back into our normal everyday life? Renee Damal, who is a philosopher and also a spiritual practitioner, has a quote that I also found in this book that I think is just fantastic. Let me find it for you. Not this traditional Swedish story. You cannot stay on the summit forever. You have to come down again. One climbs and one sees, one descends and one no longer sees, but one has seen. There is an art of conducting oneself by the memory of what one saw higher up. When one no longer sees, one can still know. And for me, the important part about that quote is, I don't know about you, but I have had moments of crystal clear awareness. Have you? I hope you have. They're incredible. And it's like all of a sudden a veil lifts and there's a reality there that's always been there, but it's clearly visible and felt and known. And this happens, and then what I did when that first started happening, when I was quite a bit younger, is I would literally try to hang on to the experience because it was so wonderful and it was slipping away and I didn't want it to slip away. No, don't go. It went. And then I would be left with myself again, the way I was before. And I literally had an experience. I was managing a coffee house while I was going to college. And I literally had the experience of standing in that kitchen and the owner of the coffee house looking at me and saying, "What happened? We liked you a lot better before." And I was like, burst into tears and said, "I did too. I don't know what happened. It's gone," you know. And that's the nature of these things, actually, is that we're given gifts of revelation and understanding and illumination and connection. That's my favorite one. Interconnection. And then we don't always get to keep them. And so the quote from Damal really indicates what we're to do with those things, which is to remember them, to remember what we were shown, and to seek to utilize what we were shown to live life differently. And it took me a while for the ability to be able to integrate some of the insights that I was receiving, because it didn't stop. It just wasn't all the time. And then studying with Jack, what I realized was he did a whole summit with the top Western monks and nuns of the Christian orders, the Sufi orders, and the Buddhist orders, anybody that was kind of a teacher, a mystical teacher, a teacher of spirituality in those realms. And during that summit, one of the places they went to was, what's the truth about your practice? Where are you? And time after time after time in that setting, there were stories of this very thing I'm pointing to, which is this incredible insight, this flooding of consciousness with bliss, this incredible heart-opening love, compassion streaming out, all of that, and then having to go back to their normal life and not always being able to retain it at all, and sometimes falling into depression because of that, which happened to me the first couple times. I went into this very sad place, because once you've tasted that, of course you want to have that all the time. And so the net result of that summit was, first, an honesty among all those teachers that enlightenment is not a one and done deal, which was a revelation to me at the time. I thought it was, because all the fairy tale stories you hear of all those gurus and monks and mystical people, it always seems like, they get it and they keep it, and then they're in bliss the rest of their life. And that's actually not the case. I hope I'm not breaking your heart. But, it was a relief to me to understand that, and also to then begin to pay attention to the teachings that we receive in the Science Mind, as well as in other tremendous spiritual paths. One of the teachings that's my favorite of our tradition is the encouragement to start where you are. And it sounds like such a simple teaching, right? It doesn't seem like any big deal. Start where you are. Well, no kidding. But actually, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Because the truth of the matter is, we don't want to be where we are. And that's what happens to a lot of spiritual teachers when they have illumination experiences, and then they go back into their life, whether it's at an ashram or a monastery or with their families. They go back into that life, and all their old habits and ways of being are waiting for them. And they're so familiar that it's easy to just all of a sudden be in the same neuroses you were always in, only now you have this other experience that you're trying to integrate. So the best advice that I've heard is start where you are, meaning that there is a need for spiritual folks like you and me to actually be aware of where we are with all of it. Not just the wonderful parts, the compassionate parts, the loving parts, the non-judgmental parts, or at least we try to be non-judgmental, but then all those other parts, the parts that sometimes are in the shadows, but they're there, and we don't like them necessarily, but they're there. And what these Illumined people started talking about was how to work with that. And so there was this story that they offered from the Christian mystical tradition that the first couple times I heard it, I was like, I don't get this story. I'm bringing you a lot of these this month. I don't get this story. But now I do. And so I thought I would bring it to you and see if you get it. It's, there were these Christian mystics who really were in the practice of living in community and allowing community to be a mirror. And so one of these communities were Trappists. And so this is a story about an very famous old Trappist monk named Father Theophane. And he tells this story about the magic monastery where the true gifts of spiritual life can be found. This is what he says. I knew there were many interesting sights, but I didn't want any more of the little answers. I wanted the big answer. So I asked the guest master to show me directly to the house of God. I sat myself down, quite willing to wait for the big answer. I remained silent all night, far into the night. I looked him in the eye, and I guess he was looking me in the eye. Late at night, I seemed to hear a voice. What are you leaving out? I looked around. I heard it again. What are you leaving out? Was it my imagination? Soon it was all around me, whispering, roaring. What are you leaving out? What are you leaving out? Was I cracking up? I managed to get to my feet and head for the door. I wanted the comfort of a human face or a human voice. Nearby was the corridor where some of the monks lived. I knocked on one cell. What do you want? Called a sleepy voice. What am I leaving out? Me, he answered. I went to the next door. What do you want? What am I leaving out? Me. A third cell, a fourth, all the same. I thought, they're just all stuck on themselves. I left the building in disgust, and just then the sun was coming up. I'd never spoken to the sun before, but I heard myself pleading, what am I leaving out? And the sun too answered, me. Me. That finished me. I threw myself on the ground, and the earth said, me too. So for me, that story is about all the things we leave out, the inner places that need attention and love, kindness, working some of those things, as well as all the other ones. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were using the term eco-grief, which I think a lot of us are suffering from. And this particular person was a millennial, self-identified millennial, and he said, we're apparently the pansies of the world because we care, and our parents and our grandparents have spent their entire lives trying to ignore what's happening, and we're not. And so we are in grief. We are in eco-grief. And so there's the leaving out of the places inside of us that scare us. And there's also sometimes the leaving out of what we're faced with societally and globally. And so the story for me is about the question that we should be asking ourselves, what am I leaving out? And then when the answer comes, whatever the answer is, taking the opportunity to embrace and bring that into awareness. This is actually the purpose of spiritual practice, is to be able to be sturdy enough and grounded enough in spirit that no matter what we've been leaving out, when it finally makes itself known, we have the depth of practice and the depth of heart to be able to encircle even that, whatever it is, a place where we need to forgive ourselves, a place where we need to forgive someone else, a place where we have this extraordinarily awful judgment of ourselves, the place in the world that we've been trying really hard not to look at, those places. That's what practice is for. And so it's powerful to understand that. It's also powerful to know that we're all on this journey of learning. One of the most illumined people who came to the West that I'm aware of is Suzuki Roshi. And he was a Buddhist monk who came to the West in the 50s and 60s, and became kind of the darling of the beat set, so Jack Kerouac and people like that. But one of the things that he said, interestingly, when someone said, well, Roshi, you don't seem enlightened all the time. And he said, oh, there is no permanent enlightenment, but there is permanent enlightened activity. And I've thought about that a lot because, while we may not be in a bliss state all the time, the bliss states, the insights that we gain from our practices allow us to move with enlightened activity and to be the place where love shows up, basically. So we have to learn to work with what is traditionally called the poisons of the world and in our own heart to be able to transform them. And so there's a story which I won't give you exactly, but it's about a poison tree. Some of you have heard me tell that story. And, when we first encounter something that we see is deadly in ourselves or in the world, our immediate instinct is to remove it. Chop it down if it's a tree, or distance ourselves from our families if it's our family, or whatever it is, we want to remove it. But then as we begin to practice and understand more about how to be in the world from a deep place of love, we realize that won't work. And so our next step is to be aware of it, but to build a fence around it, and make sure that there's some really strong boundaries, and that's a really important step. Wherever there's a poison, to, make sure nobody accidentally dies from not knowing it was a poison tree, right? But eventually even that falls away into a different practice. And we begin to see that the poison, when it is treated in certain ways with love and compassion and understanding, becomes medicine. Do you follow? Medicine for the spirit, medicine for who we can become. It's very powerful, that story. And so my encouragement to all of us, including myself, in these times which are extremely difficult, is to treat the entire, what does Zen call it? The whole catastrophe as an opportunity to become awakened, and then to bring that awakened state into action in the ways that we're called, turning what could be poisonous into a medicine for healing. So I'll do a prayer for that, in case any of you happen to have a poison tree growing out of your computer. Join me in knowing. Fundamentally, at the deepest part of reality, there is only one thing happening, and that is the profound creative expression of a love that has no limit and knows no limit, that is constantly and forever bringing itself out into the world, offering itself to all that it has created. This love awaits us. It resides within our own being. It was what made us, in truth. And so I turn now to that love, opening my own heart and mind to the call of love in all of its forms, to move in the world with enlightened activity, to be the place where patience, loving kindness, compassion, truth show up, to live from that nobility of love, and to bring it out as often as I possibly can. Since this is my intention, and there is an understanding that there is a law of cause and effect that takes intention and moves it into reality, I accept that I am being moved with this intention into an even deeper expression of these incredible qualities. Enlightened activity is my way. And when, for whatever reason, I may falter in that, I simply forgive myself and open again to love. For this awareness and for its action in me and anyone who accepts this prayer, I give thanks. As we say together, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to invite the ushers to come forward, and if you would like to make a donation to the center, we deeply appreciate that. We don't have a pope or anyone giving us money other than each other, so we're grateful for every dollar that comes in, and thank you ahead of time for all you do here as well.
And we're going to invite our ukulele players back up.
Well, Joe's not here, is he?
That's okay.
Oh, well.
We'll miss Joe on this one. His vocals.
I don't know about that. I've been at home all week with him practicing. Here comes Brenda.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I got love. I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean in my soul. I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean. I've got love like the ocean in my soul. Oh, we got joy too. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. In my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Yes, nice job.
And practicing, let me tell you. If these guys are anything like my family, I know all those songs now real well. And I know up, up, down, up, down, up, 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 down, up, down. Oh, thank you, Amber. Yeah, I pretty much have it. Well, first of all, I want to take the opportunity to remind you that we've had some incredible Gourmets for Good happening. And if you're new with us, what that is it's a fundraiser we do once a year where people volunteer to make a meal and other people volunteer to bid for a place at the table. And it raises money for the center, and people get together, which is my favorite part, to get to know one another a little bit. And so we've had a couple. July 10th, Shiloh, who happens to be here, and her husband Tom, did a wonderful dinner. And how many of you were at that one who are here today? Oh, there you were. And then Mike and Pat Roberts, who are also here, did a wonderful thing, the Earth First Dock Party. How many of you were at that? There you are. Jennifer, did you go to every single one? Yes, and they are fun. So thank you to those of you who hosted, and thank you to all who bid. Even those we may not be able to see, we are so grateful for that. It's really so fun to be with people that way. Don't have a lot of announcements today because we have a bunch of people just waiting for us to be done so that they can start setting up more for the Sacred Earth Fair. So that's the big announcement this week is that, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about this Sacred Earth Fair. It is a first. It is actually not our event. We simply donated the use of the grounds and some of our numerous supplies and trash cans, and also lots of volunteers. And if you're a volunteer today, thank you for that. We are hosting this because we're part of a larger organization called the Multi-Faith Network for Social Justice. And they are part of an even larger group called Earth Ministries. And these groups, our group, that group, and Earth Ministries, are all part of a growing movement of spiritual folks and religious organizations who are realizing that if we're going to move the needle and actually make some difference in climate change, then people of faith need to be involved. They have to be involved. And they have to speak, and they have to be active, and they have to bring their understanding of why the earth is a sacred place to the larger arena in which we live, including the political arena and the social arena. So we're all here, all of these folks are here, because in some way or another, they are involved in making a difference and hoping to make a big difference so that we can move that needle down several degrees and live in a world where our children, and for me especially my grandchildren, will find it not only habitable, but my hope, my trust, is regenerated. And so we have some incredible people coming to support this fair. Many of you probably have heard the name Swilcanum. Swilcanum is a Lummi tribal member and a virtuoso violin player. And he also is a tremendous speaker. And so he'll be here offering some insight and some music. We also have the Nookstack elders and storytellers coming, 2 women, Tammy Cooper Woodrich and Angela Latoy. And they're going to be sharing their people's understanding and some stories from there. We have the Children of the Setting Sun, who are literally children and adults who have worked together on a video project that is called the Salmon People Video. And they're going to be offering the video here in the sanctuary. There also will be yoga here in the sanctuary. Anyone coming into the sanctuary after we're done is requested to wear a mask. And I will turn the air conditioning on because we put in a heat pump, have air conditioning in this building. So I will make that happen so we can be comfortable. We have a lot of activities happening. There's a Zen nature walk put on by Red Cedar Dharma Hall. There's there's a children's tent and children's art projects and all kinds of different people out there who would love to tell you about how you can help make a difference by being part of the solution. So that's happening. It starts at 1. So you have time to go and have some food and change into really, really cool clothes and get a hat and come back if you would like to do that. So I wanted to let you know more in detail what that's all about and why we're involved. And Philip's going to be leading the men's circle on the 14th of August. But other than that, we're in summer mode. And so that's enough announcements. Isn't that nice? So why don't we stand and we'll sing our way out of here.
I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning or I lay my head to rest. Let's sing it out. I am blessed. I am blessed. Oh yeah, we're blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning or I lay my head to rest, I am blessed. 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 One more time. I am blessed. I am blessed. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again soon.